Welcome to season 2, which, if you needed the recap from season 1, ended on a cliffhanger as we found out that Jamie Millard was having Tony Palayo's baby, which caused a giant love triangle between Jamie Millard, Tully Kennedy, and Tony Palayo in the mix-up that we never saw coming. Welcome back to season 2, episode 1 of The Big Bottom.
Man, it was a cliffhanger. I've been on edge ever since.
You have? How do you think I felt?
You were part of it. Dude, it's exciting. We had 10 episodes in the can, as they say in Hollywood.
Yep.
That's what they say, the pros. Because, we're professionals. This is episode 11, or as John said, episode 1 of season 2, episode 11. And we have the incredible Murphy Karges on. What a cool dude, right?
Man, yeah, that guy's the shit. He's really cool. Really cool.
And talk about just experience. I mean, he, being bass player, songwriting, hanging, playing in Sugar Ray, one of the biggest bands of the 90s.
Super humble for his experience.
Yeah.
Wicked humble. I noticed that, we played in 50,000 people. It was all right,
Yeah. Oh, but that Bon Jovi, flew in. He was there. Yeah, crazy, man. Just incredible. One of the nicest guys, and smart as hell, too, man. One of the smartest guys. Like, really, really an intelligent guy. Very business-oriented, like us bassists tend to be most of the time. So anyway, most of the time. So Murphy Karges, incredible guy. Great hang. Yeah. And he lives out my side of the woods. He's on the West Coast.
Nice.
So there you go. So yeah, all right. And you guys are doing well? You guys are hanging in there?
Yeah,
doing well.
Goodbye. Ate at a restaurant. Loved that. That was great.
John, little vacay.
Got a real vacation. So that was another nice thing. So
very cool. Very cool.
And today, guys, who we brought by? We've got a couple of sponsors.
We've got some new sponsors rolling through this time, Tony.
Yes, we do.
Tony, start it off, buddy.
First one being A Designs Audio. We all know Pete Montesi makes some of the best hardware on the planet. Boom, boom, boom. The Pacifica.
Ooh. Yeah. The Pacifica is a 2-channel mic pre that is, I believe, has cinematic transformers, just badassery.
It's super heavy for this one rack space. It's got lots of iron in there, and sounds killer for overheads. That's how I tend to use it.
Yeah.
I love it for overheads.
And it's a great DI, too.
It's great DI. Oh,
killer
speaking
DI.
about that, you have the famous Ready.
The famous Ready. The standard, the Ready. And then Tony and I, yes?
I'm peeking over.
KGB. Now, this is the one, the KGB with the tone controls. He also makes the KGB that's a 2-channel, almost like the Pacifica, 2-channel, but in this form right here. So Pete Montesi is just one of the nicest.
This thing's great. I've used this for unique things. Really like little crappy Black Star amp. Just it sounded good, but it wasn't really big sounding.
Yeah.
With the DI direct out of it. With some of these new guitar amps that are the modeling out. We went from the modeling out directly into this, left it flat, and it really widened the whole thing. It really did. I was impressed.
I used the KGB on a recording with the Rhodes, and it was ridiculous.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
Just so killer. And then I also have the mic pre, the Ventura. That's freaking just fantastic mic pre. So yeah, Pete Montesi, shout out A Designs Audio. Hold on, I want to give the right URL. I'll put it up.
We're very professional. I know, right? I'll tell you this.
adesignsaudio.com, and that's Pete Montesi, and we want to welcome him. He's awesome.
And John, who else do we have today, John?
Well, since we all enjoy our cup of coffee or pot of coffee, we don't judge. Our buddy Ross over at Golden State Coffee.
Yeah, we got
is a proud sponsor and also a killer bass player as well.
Man, Ross is killing, man. Great player. Their band's coming out with a new record. Yeah, just all around good people over there. Golden State Roasters. Yeah, and all of us are.
You can use the promo code Big Bottom 15, Big Bottom 15.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to their online store and use that, or you can go in. They're in downtown Placentia. You can actually walk in.
Oh, they'll take it there too.
They'll take it
That's
there.
great.
Yes. And I actually used the promo code. I went in. I got myself a new pour over ceramic, and I was like,
Oh, I
hey,
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, can I use
Do they offer those on the website?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Yep, they have them. They're fantastic. So they have the pour over little I forget what it is, but and they have all kinds of stuff. They got swag, they got coffee, they've got filters, all kinds of good stuff. And their website or their URL is goldenstate.coffee. So very
Nice.
cool. Have you guys tried the coffee?
I did. I tried it first time this morning. I think, what'd you send me? The Ethiopian?
I think so. Yes. Yeah. You got
And so I've got to dial it back a little bit because it was definitely, it was a strong cup this morning. Like good, bold flavor, but yeah, a little bit of.
Yeah.
Well, Ethiopian's tends to be a darker. I mean,
Yeah.
depends on you.
Right.
I tend to roast that darker. I like the espresso. I have that, but I prefer the darker roasts.
Mm-hmm.
What did you get? Which one did you get, Tony?
The espresso.
Nice.
Ooh,
Yeah. That's
okay.
yeah. Did you try it out yet?
My body. Yes. Fantastic. Fantastic. I did do a pour over. I did French press.
Nice.
Okay.
I can't find I think my wife has it somewhere.
Cool. Yeah, I love French press, but I've been doing the pour over lately. Just I dig it. So
I'm gonna order a pour over from these guys, and I want to use the promo code.
Pour over's good.
It's good,
Pour over's
man.
good.
It's just it's direct injection of caffeine. Kind of like the if you look at our first, they were sponsors on our first on the last episode. Sorry, on episode 10, they came on, and I just had a cup, and I was a little jacked up, and Tony rolled his eyes when I said it. It was fantastic. I liked it. I sent these guys a screenshot. I was like, ah! And he just goes,
Right.
yeah, typical Steve. I isolated it and I sent it to them to make them feel really, really good about rolling their eyes at me. Because obviously, because I'm the one that messes things up all the time.
I don't know, man. I mean, when I have a strong cup, I actually mellow out a little bit. Like,
what?
You know.
Mm-hmm.
Not I. So anyways, yeah, so we got A Designs Audio and we have Golden State Roasters, and we love those companies. We both we all use all their gear and drink all their coffee. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Big
we
Bottom
do.
15. Yeah, Big Bottom
15. Check it out.
So anyway, who wants to sign off? I think that's
John.
we chatted enough. John, you're so good at this. Leave us. Come on. Give us.
So as we open into the opening scene of season 2, episode 1, stay tuned and we'll see what happens when Tony enters the hospital.
What's up, everybody? Episode 11, The Big Bottom.
Episode
Yay,
11.
11.
Or like you said, Steve, episode 1, season 2.
Ooh, that's kind of nice too.
Yeah, it's nice.
No matter what, they all add up. But we have a special guest. First of all, we have Liam Moody.
Yep.
Say hey, Liam.
Can you say hi?
Is that going to say hi to those guys again?
I know. He's like, oh man, Dad, you're talking to those creeps, those weirdos, those bass playing. Does Liam play an instrument?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. But
he'll pick bass soon enough.
Yes.
Right, for sure. Then he'll start stealing his dad's gigs.
There you go. Exactly, right? Yeah. So, no, we're excited. We've got Murphy Karges, buddy of mine, and Murphy is he's rad. He's an awesome dude, and yeah, we're glad to have you on, buddy. Thank you so much, man.
Glad to be here.
What did you just pick up? What model did you pick up, G&L?
My SB right here. Can you see it?
Yep.
Nice. Now that's the trusty one. So tell the good folks out there, if they don't know, you are affiliated with a very famous band and toured with, and
Well, many years ago, some buddies and I started a band called the Shrinky Dinks, and it was from Newport Beach. And we eventually changed our name to Sugar Ray when we got a record deal with Atlantic Records, and just had our journey. We struggled, and then we did well with putting Fly out in 1997, and
That was
I
huge.
just had a fun time. So
Massive.
yeah.
And
This is the fly bass though. I gotta always hold it, you know.
that's so
Change the
amazing.
pick guard. And but this literally, it's an interesting story. Maybe we can get to that in a minute. But
No. Let's do it. Talk, man. This is freeform. We're just.
I think guitars, you know, when you get, whether it's a bass or an instrument, I think some instruments can just kind of, when you put it when you hold it, when you play it, they can, stuff can come out of it, and it just things fly out of it. I don't know if you guys feel that way, but I have felt that way with different basses and with different guitars and whatnot. But it was a pivotal time in our band's life. We were in New York City, and as I just said, you know, Sugar Ray, and we had struggled. We had put one record out, and it wasn't doing that good. We got to go to Europe, and it did okay there, but we were struggling, and we were in New York City, and we were just trying to write all this heavy stuff, and it was a weird moment when our singer Mark just goes, man, I got to get out of here, because nothing was fitting. It was a weird moment, and he bails, and it literally felt like we're all going to be back. I'm going to be delivering at, you know, Little Caesars in 6 months or 3 months or 2 weeks. and somehow in that weird broken moment, I was sitting there and I had been listening to some records at that time, was that 1996 probably. And I just played this little bass line, and then we just wrote this song. It happened in like 10 minutes. It's crazy. Wow. But that bass was sitting in my lap, and it was literally the first thing that wrote Fly. Because I go, here's the bass line, do, and then from there the drums came in, which was Craig, our DJ, and then Rodney wrote that little amazing, you know, guitar lick, and then Stan, our drummer, actually wrote the hook and the lyrics and the chorus. Wow. So it's funny how things happen. But my point was that some instruments, man, they'll pull things out of you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys feel that way.
Oh, absolutely.
I feel some basses make me play a certain way than others, for sure, you know?
Yeah.
I totally get it.
Well, I think sometimes for me, I mean, you know, all of us collectively, I mean, we have instruments in our hands. We have a ton of instruments in our hands that come through, but every once in a while there comes an instrument where you just go, there's something special about it. And it just happens. You can't predict it or whatever. And then that just works. And it seems like that bass, Murphy, that one's traveled with you everywhere, right? I mean, that's kind of recorded travel. That's like been your one.
That was on the road for years before Fly. And I don't know, it was a workhorse. I mean, I would eat it, and, you know, and it just, it stayed with me for a long time. So, yeah.
And it still lives. It's alive, as good as day one. Nice. Now, the Shrinky Dinks, because I remember them, because we grew up kind of the same area, you know, Southern California. And that was kind of a big local band for a while.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we had a lot of fun doing it, you know, and we had a lot of friends that would come see us. And it was really weird because in the beginning, we didn't play at clubs and like get proper gigs because there was, you know, we were from Newport Beach. There wasn't really a scene.
There's Cuckoo's Nest. That was it. But that was
scary.
That was scary punk, weird, like metal kind of thing too. Yeah. So that was.
Yeah, we didn't.
Did you have to go to LA to play? Would you have to go north? And
you know, early on, no, we just started playing parties, and because, you know, we just wanted to have fun, so we would literally just like throw a party with our friends and play, you know. And I don't know why it was. We played a lot of parties, but there might be like 300 people there in this outdoor, you know, backyard of a beach thing, and it's a lot of fun. So we didn't start doing official gigs, I guess, for a while, but it's okay because we kind of got inventive, and we would wind up doing shows. We'd like rent out, we'd have a buddy who would act as like a promoter and rent out like a restaurant and then throw a huge party after they were done after hours. And so in a way we kind of our own promoters, and we just sort of, we made it work here in our area. And like, that's what we wanted to do. We didn't really start trying to pursue real gigs for a while, but we were just goofing around having fun. And I guess we did okay, you know, but yeah.
Well, yeah, it permutated into one of the biggest bands of like the 90s. I mean, huge, man, huge. What was the biggest
part of the 90s? Yeah.
Yeah, part of the 90s. You know, what was the biggest stage that you guys played?
You mean just physically, like
just
what?
Physically, like what big, like audience wise, like what the big festival, like.
It's funny. I was just going through some some crates of old stuff. I keep too much stuff, so I got to go through it, you know.
Yeah.
But we opened for Bon Jovi, and we played in front of 55,000 people.
Woo!
At the Meadowlands, you know, where the New York Giants play football, and
Wow.
that was insane because if you open for Bon Jovi in Jersey, they're all there. I mean, nobody's getting there late. They're tailgating at like 1 o'clock or whatever. So that was insane. But you know, it's weird because you could play like the Hollywood Palladium sold out, and that feels or a club gig, and that people are close to you. You feel the heat. It playing at like an arena or a stadium. We didn't do many of those, but that's weird because they're so far away. They're physically really far away from you.
Interesting, yeah.
And that was such a gas. That was so fun to do that, and that was fascinating. We're sitting there. Bon Jovi took a helicopter from New York into. We're like, what? Who's in a helicopter?
Of course he did.
In a limo from the helicopter, goes underneath, does the gig, limo out, helicopter by. But that was a crazy. That was a lot of people. I remember looking out, going, holy, you know, crazy.
What were you using for a backline at that time?
I believe it was our standard stuff. I was using 2 Ampeg 810 cabinets and 2 Ampeg heads. At that point, I was using my Music Mans. I'd switched to those for a period after Gino. Gino and Music Man were the basses that I used through all the Sugar Ray times. But that, you know. And the odd thing was a really small stage. So even the photos prove it. It's weird. I'm looking, I go, wow, that was really. But I guess that was maybe to keep the band looking tight, like it was. You know, they weren't like, you know, 2 football fields apart on stage, which that can work, and then the other way can work. But yeah, it was just like our regular gear, you know, like my 2 stacks, Rodney's Marshall or whatever he had, Stan's drum set, our DJ's rig, and Mark running around, you know. So.
And back then, it was actual stage monitors, right? No in-ears. It was stage monitors. So.
I think in-ears were around. There was early adoption to in-ears. We were using Ultimate ears, and
okay. Oh wow.
But no, we never. A lot of bands do away with the monitors, but we always had them for fill, just because we like to hear, you know, the fill of the band on stage, so.
And feel it. You feel it for sure.
I love my side fills, the giant, like they have like mass. I'm like, turn those up. Those sound good. Get the bass cranking in those.
Give me the brown note through those.
Turn up the color brown, yeah.
Yes, exactly. And then the Music Mans, you kind of between the Music Man and the G&Ls, the Music Mans kind of gave you a little bit more, maybe like mid-range, hi-fi kind of thing, or
yeah, probably more. I mean, the Music Man's probably more of a scoop sound, I would say. Okay. A little more low, maybe a little more high, just for what I was doing.
Sure.
But I don't know. It was just a change, and it felt good. You know, the years up to, it was probably 2000 I swapped, I think, maybe. Yeah. And it was just, I liked it, and I'm like, this is cool, let's do this. You know, so.
It's all Leo's creation, so it's all good.
They have a great sound live. I'm not a big fan of them in the studio, but they do sound. I went through like a huge phase, Music Man phase for a while, man. I really loved them. I loved them on stage, just I didn't like them recording wise, you know?
You know, that's so true. A lot of times in studio, I'd be cutting with it and like, it just, that's a very good point. They are good live, but in the studio, I think a P bass would wind up in my lap somehow or something, you know, like
P
that.
or PJ. Yeah.
PJ, right, yeah.
We're all fans of PJs here, big time.
Oh, huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We love
PJ, double P. And how about strings? What are you using string-wise?
Okay,
yeah.
I actually have them here. It's funny, I got a restring, but I have these here.
Very cool.
I actually used to use the 110.
Okay.
Because the super heavy, because we would tune down.
Okay.
We were, you know, we like Van Halen and all those. What are the bands that, you know, like you'd hear the example of bands that, you know, tuned down. Was it AC/DC? Did they tune down?
I don't think so. I
don't think they did.
Yeah. Half step. I don't know.
Anyway, I used the super heavy gauge because I wanted the tension to feel back to normal for tuning down. But Ernie Ball, like they just hooked me up with strings forever, and they seemed to be a great string.
Yeah, they work. There you go, man. Nice.
What about y'all? I want to hear.
GHS for me, you know. I went through a few different companies, and I started working with companies, I think, incorrectly. I'm like, oh, this is a great deal. I like the relationship. I like the people there. But strings are really, really ultra personal, man. They really are. You know, I made a couple of mistakes till I really found GHS, and GHS is I can't imagine playing anything else now. So
Awesome.
Hey, John, how about you?
Yeah.
John.
Yeah, I have to say GHS because that's where I work. But no, I mean, I did the same thing as Tony. You know, I played a bunch of different things. You know, oddly enough, the first set I tried was Dean Markley Blue Steels, which is actually, you know, they were founded in the same town where I live now, which is kind of cool to find out. But yeah, went through a couple of things before I became an artist with GHS, and then just from happenstance jumped on to the company in more of an office role. So
Wait, that's crazy. You said Blue Steel, Dean Markley?
Dean Markley.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those. I'm like,
yeah, they were great.
On.
Cryogenically
Yes,
treated.
right.
That was the big moniker, you know. Cryogenically, blah blah blah.
I remember. Yeah, that's crazy.
They were good strings, man. They were good.
Steve, you introduced me to. Didn't you introduce me to? You said go say hi to somebody over at GS. Was that right?
It'd been me. Yeah, because you stopped by, I think, real quick. You're like, hey, Steve said to say hi. So
that's right.
yeah,
So fast, and like I'm like, hey, Steve.
Well, especially during NAMM. NAMM is madhouse, and you know,
for sure.
That last
this
one.
NAMM was especially crazy for some reason. I don't know what it was.
It was
like a whirlwind of chaos. It really was.
I was gonna say, is NAMM getting more? It's getting more crowded, or is it the same?
It seems that way.
Yeah.
It seems that way, even though they keep cutting down the badges that they give out. It seems a lot busier every year, especially the, or maybe it's one of those, instead of how it used to be like Thursday was, you know, kind of quiet. Friday was a little better, but then Saturday was balls out. Maybe they all realized, hey, if we come on Thursday, we can get in. So maybe it's more of just not so much it's busier, but everyone just, it's more evened out. Like everyone's trying to come in earlier.
Yeah.
It just seemed, I haven't actually been in a while, and I went, and it was just insanity. Like you went to a booth and you can't even move. There's like, I walked by, Steve, I saw you, Gino, I stopped by Jonathan, and I went over to Music Man, I think, and Ernie Ball, and I couldn't even move. I'm like, I can't see anything, I can't hear.
Oh yeah, their booth's always packed.
I'm being hit shoulder to shoulder, and I just gotta get out of here. It's like, so I just got around. What's that?
They're interesting. Like they could be dressed up as Spaceman one year, or you know, they do these weird themes, and they always attract a lot of people. You know,
I remember years
go-go dancers. You know,
years and years ago, they were all Elvises, and that's going way back.
Oh, that's funny.
Pretty funny.
That's rad.
That is funny, actually.
Yeah, strings are definitely one of those things. Like I've been currently the GHS Super Steels are kind of my jam. I love them.
Mm-hmm.
It was forever I used DRs, and I still love DRs also. And I like the lowriders and the Super Steels kind of come close to that, just the feel. Because I love steel strings unfretted because I do like a little bit of that harshness. That's just me. I want to feel a little bit of resistance. And then on fretless, I'll use nickel because it's smooth. So, and again, that's just me, just is what it is. But fretless, I've always kind of the Diodario nickels, DRs, you know, they're just the XLs, man. I mean, they're literally just, they're like the Ernie Balls. They're just consistent. They work and that's it. But I definitely want to delve a little bit more into trying, some other stuff with GHS. Just check it out. Cause I don't think I've ever tried the basics or the nickel version. You know, and at the same time, for flat wounds, I love the Labellas. The 1954, the Jamerson set is kind of like, and like Murphy was saying, I mean, it's a 110 on the low E, and it's just like, I just like them, you know. And you play differently when I play my Olinto P bass with those big heavy strings.
Oh sure.
It just makes you play different. It's really cool. So, yeah.
Can I ask a dumb question?
No dumb questions. There's no such
nickel and steel. Can you break that down, like what the difference might be, Steve? And then, but Steve, you said you like steel. You know what that feels like for you, and then Jonathan also. If you could break that down, I don't really know. Go ahead.
Let me go into the layman's terms, and then John will get to the nitty gritty.
Right.
For me, because seriously, it's just me. It's almost like what we were talking when you put. when you get something in your hands, it either works or it doesn't,
Right.
or it feels nice or it doesn't. You know, it is one of those things. And for me, I'll just be stupid. I'll say nickel is smoother, steel a little rougher. That's it. So I kind of like that rougher feel on the stainless steel, but on fretless, I like the nickels because they're smoother. So that's it. So now John can actually really give us the
well, I mean, you've got the big part down. I mean, you know, some of that comes down to just the type of metal it is. You know, steel's going to be a harder metal than the nickel plate that everyone else uses for that. But what it does too is the nickel strings usually will pull back the harshness of that first attack on the string, so it's not that like bright and just piercing. I would say it's not so much because you know with steel too, you can EQ it so it's almost like ice pick kind of attack, just like just that really hard chop, and the nickel's not going to get that. It's going to be a more warmer kind of a grab on the first part of it, and it's going to have a little bit nickels are going to be a little bit more in the low mid range, be a little smoother that sound way too.
Tony. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I want to hear Tony's take on. And we also, Steve, have you done a review on nickel and steel, like a video on YouTube? That'd be interesting to watch.
Somewhere down the road, I used to do all the stuff, like all of DR's sound bites were me. Like I did all of them. So, but I don't think I've done one. And yeah, that would be just and I'm sure they're out there. Maybe I did.
I'll do one.
Yeah, dude, do one, man. Absolutely. Murphy's doing some killer videos. So yeah, you were going to ask Tony.
There's another big feel that there's another aspect of it that's real important to me is tension.
Yeah. So there we go.
There's a tension. Totally. John could alleviate to the tension a little bit more, you know. So, like nickels have a little less tension than the steels as well. So,
John is the professor, and we're like the students.
No, but that's
John,
you know, I think
which is great, which is awesome. Yeah,
the professor can learn from the students. I've learned sometimes.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's like my buddy that teaches elementary school. And, you know, he said the biggest thing that they all had to learn right on their last year is the thing of how do you teach 4 plus 4, 42 different ways to every single student, because no one's going to learn the exact same way.
Right.
Yeah. The and the thing with tension, the DRs were kind of known to have a little less tension. So but honestly, kind of switching over, like I said, the lowriders were and the Marcus Miller, the fat beams, all
fat
the
beams,
yeah, which those kind of were my favorite. I just found I don't know, I just kind of wanted to try something new because I'd been with DR for a long time, and the Super Steels just they feel really nice to me.
There's a third option too.
Yeah, what's a third?
Tell them what it is, Tony.
Progressives.
The GHS Progressives, which is my personal favorite. I love them to death. Oof, they're fantastic.
And what's the breakdown of those? Cobalt?
Nickel iron.
Nickel iron.
So John describes it, and which is a great way of putting it. They feel like nickel, but sound more like stainless.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
They might have a hair more tension than your typical nickel, but not quite as much. They're like Baby Bear, that are like just right, and they last forever.
Nice.
Forever.
I thought when you said third option, I thought you were going to say like some Braveheart, like catgut or something. No. Tennis strings.
Right.
Eagle feather.
I want to say, if I remember correctly, even violin strings don't use catgut anymore. I think it's been outlawed.
It's ethically.
Was it literally? I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Was it literally catgut?
It was literally catgut.
There you go. That's crazy.
Ethically, we can't do that anymore.
When was that outlawed, John?
I think honestly, recently, like the past 5-6 years.
Oh,
imagine the person who invented that. Like, hey, let's make a string.
Well, I mean, they've been using, intestines or whatever, so I'm sure that
forever.
Other stuff,
and I'm sure it was one of those that they didn't, at some point, it was probably like, I don't think they were just slaughtered specifically for that.
Yeah.
So,
like using ivory and
right, or PETA would have been just all over that.
losing their minds. Yeah.
Another video to make.
Another vid.
Sarah McLachlan there. Every
No,
year,
no.
hundreds of cats are killed for their intestines.
I was gonna say, if you start humming the song, I'm gonna start crying.
Yeah,
John, what would happen with just a pure iron string?
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I guess
Let's
I would have
experiment. Let's experiment with that. Let's try it.
Hey, somebody was getting upset that I didn't want to try it with titanium.
Oh,
Well, they actually do make Parastro, I believe, makes a set of violin strings with a titanium wrap. And for an acoustic instrument, that's great. But for an electric bass or something, because titanium is non-ferrous,
yeah.
it
It would work.
be worthless. And the thing is, too, it would be hellaciously expensive.
Yeah. Because there still has to be some form of magnetic pull for the pickups to translate. So, yeah, okay. And titanium doesn't have that. So,
Nope.
There we go. Live and
Great
learn.
info. I like it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, okay. And then on that, with string life, everybody's makeup hands are different. For me, thankfully, like I don't go through strings very often. I don't rust stuff out, but I have friends that do. How about you, Murphy? Oh, okay.
Ah!
No, I meant, because Tony, when you said tension is big, that was huge for me. That's why I went for the 110s, because
Yeah.
I actually, during Sugar Ray said I would alternate between fingers and pick. Whether I wanted to have an attacking song like Mean Machine or Answer the Phone, that's a pick all the way.
Yeah.
But then Fly and Someday, the mellower ones, I think it was cooler to have a warmer sound for my fingers. So that matters a ton, But yeah, I mean, I like picks, man. I don't know if it's purist. I don't know. I mean, didn't Paul McCartney play with a pick?
Dude,
Mhm.
I have nothing against them at all.
it's all about serving the song and serving
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the thing. And I got to tell you that I get knocked because my pick playing sucks balls. It's effing horrible. So
Why?
I don't know. So
No. I want to break this down. Why? Tell me.
because the way I hold it, because I never play with a pick, so I try to fake it, and I think I just don't have the good technique for bass and pick. And so there you go, video, Murphy.
Steve, your pick
No,
playing
I
in a
think-
mix would be fine.
I think you're hard on yourself.
No,
If you're a
well,
bass player, you probably play fine with the pick, but our standards are high, probably. So
yeah, but you are great. That would be a cool video. Would be actually pick technique, because there is a technique, and
Absolutely.
I'm not good at it. I'm horrible at it because I play predominantly with fingers. But for demos, I've tried, and it's just really bad. Like I just can't make it sound good.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's your thumb. Like Sting plays a lot with
Well,
this. All
yeah.
kinds of ways to play
Yeah.
fingers.
The pick is hard, man. I don't know, and so your strings last a while, Murphy, and the corrosiveness of your pH balance of your hands or whatever.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, on the road, I was so lucky. I would change them every couple gigs or something. I would shred picks. There'd be red flake all over my pick guard with Bud Light all over it and sweat. And I destroyed picks. I kind of destroyed strings. So I changed them not every single gig. I thought that was a little ridiculous. I'd try to make them last as long as they could, but it was a crazy night and Mark was throwing beer on me. Then maybe I haven't changed every gig, but no, I don't know. I think they last a long time now. I mean,
Cool.
The road is another animal, but maybe some people treat everything real perfectly, and we were a little bit insane on the road, so we had a lot of fun and destroyed stuff. But they last a pretty good amount of time now. Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Well, I have a buddy, and I don't know if you guys know Chris Book. He literally has the most corrosive hands. Like I won't let him touch any of my instruments unless I'm ready to change strings, because
I didn't know that.
and some people will just rust out even the bridge, and it's just somebody's makeup, like how their acid or whatever it is in their hands.
Sweaty palms.
Sweaty palms or whatever. Exactly. Like there's something there that corrodes the steel or the whatever it is. But yeah, so I was wondering. Fortunately, I think all of us don't have that.
I used to be like that. I used to rip through
Really?
nickel-plated ones. I'd play, and right here on your pads, it would be all black.
Oh wow.
So
Don't let Mike Pope touch your bass.
yeah,
That's another one that he killed.
Mike Pope is, and when I did a gig with Mike, and he was like, I'm like, oh, so that's your signature. I'm like, I know you. I go afterwards, maybe. He's like, okay.
Like, I'm not letting you close to it. No.
And then there's the thing where, you know, you find a bass that the strings have been on it for like 25 years or something. Like,
Yeah.
or maybe not that long, but have you heard of that? Like, what's the longest you heard of a string being on a guitar, on a bass?
So, anybody? I have a.
I mean, flat wounds, you know, I've always heard like, you know,
Right.
10, 15 years is pretty standard. I mean, in terms of other people, it really depends because a lot of people don't necessarily like that really fully broken in round wound sound. I mean, the only guy I know, and he was one of our artists, was Ben Shepherd from Soundgarden. Would keep them on forever. Like, you know, through a tour that they would do, he would, you know, his tech would order 3 sets.
Wow.
Because he just liked that super dead, just heavy, low sound.
That guy played his bass lower physically on than anyone ever. And I saw them. I actually saw them
Wow.
at Bogart's in Long Beach at a little tiny club with nobody there. You believe that?
Mm-hmm.
Must have been amazing.
And they
Cornell.
probably still played it about as loud as a stadium show, too.
It was so loud. I was just like, but it sounded insane. But I'm like, this is, you know, it was, I'm like, this is crazy. Who is this band?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it was funny. They played after, I think it was my brother's band and some buddies were playing, and then they sang and played after. Some band from Seattle is going to play late. And so I'm like, wow. So
That's
we
crazy.
played it so low. It was crazy, man. I remember seeing it.
That was a fantastic band. And Cornell, man. What a.
I mean, I like to keep a 5-string or 2 with strings on it for like a year that have like a pseudo flat wound sound. I mean, they're dead. They're obviously dead. The highs are cut. They're like, "Move." But I want that. You know, maybe I'll record with that one. Maybe if I'm playing with acoustic instruments, I'll do that. You know, I'll use something like that. But normally I like fresh, nice and snarly.
Totally.
So a few years ago, and there is a video on this, my uncle had a bass that he told me about, a jazz bass that he bought years and years ago and hadn't taken it out, and instantly my ears perked up like, oh, what kind of bass is it? And it was a 72 or 73 Fender jazz bass.
Right.
He put it away, didn't play it since, and I have this all on the video. I'll put a link up, but he bought it in the 70s or in the late 70s, played it a couple of times and literally put it away until I bought it. And he gave me a good price and I paid fair. It had the strings from then on it. And I did the video and they were just old. They sounded like old strings, but you could tell the bass. And there was some other stuff going on with the bass, but somebody contacted me and they wanted those strings. So I think.
Did you charge a premium for it?
No. They were like, I'll buy them. I said, I literally was like, dude, I'll just send them over to you because
those are relic strings, Steve.
They're relic strings, but honestly, I think that one of the strings on the posts, I even told him, I said, look, man, it's going to be a little sketchy because, you know, that steel, if it starts bending, it'll obviously, you know, it'll break. But I sent it to him and the guy used them and loved them. And I forget who it is. I want to say it's my buddy Rob Wolonsky, or I forget who it is. I'll find the tag. But anyways, so people want those. So, and I think they were Roto Sounds from like the late 70s. So pretty amazing. And they were cool, but anyways, somebody wanted them and they would.
I always found that Roto sound great when you put them on, and then when we did it, like, you know,
So 30 whatever plus year old strings that I did a video that I sent him out to somebody. Pretty funny. Yeah. But didn't they used to solder like Jamerson or somebody? Didn't they used to solder the strings back together to?
I think some people have. I mean, there's that story of Jamerson breaking a string and sending it to Labella.
Yeah.
And calling them up, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll replace it, no problem." He's like, "No, I want you to fix it."
Fix my string.
Right, because he didn't want, it was the sound.
With the hook.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny, man.
It's hilarious.
So Murphy, lately you've been doing a lot of home stuff. Like obviously all of us have been at home.
Yeah.
Doing a lot of recording. What do you you have your studio back there? I dig it, man. What do you got back there? What are you recording with?
Just some stuff. I mean, the guitars are on the wall, and some there's keyboard here, and
Nice.
my stuff is here. The UAD Apollo and the speakers and some of my stuff. The Zoom. I've just been doing a lot of video stuff lately. I had a school in here for like about a year. I did like a band program.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I wanted to, well, actually, yeah, Steve, that's right. You were here, but I've moved into other businesses. It was just such a big space.
Okay.
And I kind of had this crazy idea, like, yeah, maybe I can do some kind of school and thing. And, you know, School of Rock is cool in what it does in some ways. And then I'm like, yeah, but be different. But I did it for a year, and it was great. We had a bunch of kids in the community, and they were here. We had 2 concerts. It was awesome. But after it, I'm like, I don't want to do that. It's just not what I want to do, but it was fun. I'm glad I did it.
Mm-hmm.
And what I want to do is put everything that I've ever known, everything that I went through, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever, and just put it online and share about it and make a video.
I love it. Yeah.
During, I guess, the slow times in Sugar Ray, I started directing. And so I got into video and video production. So I taught myself editing. And so it's kind of like, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just put everything? And it was a good time when we all went, we're still in quarantine. The beaches, I heard, just got shut down today. They got re-shut down. Did you guys hear that?
There's stuff. They're actually out here. There was a bunch of counties at the restaurants. They're shutting them down again. Like they're doing a lot of re-shutting down.
I just heard though at 4th of July, all LA beaches are shut down. You know?
Orange County also. Orange County's toast. So anyways, but I just started putting stuff online, and I just felt like I have this desire to kind of share to kid or whatever. If somebody can learn from me or something and gain some insight or something, then great. But hand to hand, I can reach more if I do video. So
they're fantastic. So I think they're awesome. And you were doing the you were breaking down every Sugar Ray line, like your bass line.
Sugar Ray songs in order. I did all 90 songs we recorded.
Wow.
I went on Spotify and just started on the very first one, Snug Harbor, the first song on the first record, and went through 90 songs. Yeah.
Ooh.
I'll put links and everything on the YouTube, but what is the YouTube channel? And that's your main thing is the YouTube, right?
Yeah.
That's where it's at.
You can just search for my name, Murphy Karges, or it's YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's youtube.com/c/Murphy Karges bass.
That's cool. Okay. Like I said, I'll put links, but no, I think that's fantastic, man. I mean, I think that's like we're doing here. I mean, it really is, especially during this time, this medium has just like the importance of it has risen, you know, and definitely the amount of stuff that's out there, it's more and more, but you know, you being established and having all that road time, gig time, playing time, I think you're an important voice, you know, and people are going to want to hear that. I think that's rad, you know.
I appreciate that. A lot of times I'll struggle. I'll watch a lot of the bass people online. It's very like slap. It's very shredder. It's very solo-y. And I'm like, dude, I didn't grow up. I grew up idolizing like Pete Farn and the Pretenders and like, I mean, not necessarily maybe Glenn Matlock and the Sex Pistols and like just cool bass players who would stand there on stage and command a presence. You know, Dee Dee Ramone from the Ramones. Like, so I kind of feel like I can't keep up with like chops. I'm not into. No, I think that's rad if you can, but my aspect is more writing. I bass, when I got my first bass, I think I tried to write a song and the second day I had it. I'm like, how do I do this? And then I got to pick, I remember it was just this dumb little thing. I'm like, okay, let me go. And I just did this like descending kind of dissonant sounding weird thing. And I was obsessed with trying to create on my bass. That's why I got it.
You wanted to write, Murphy. You wanted to write and create. Yeah.
And so what I want to do, I actually don't even know if I've hit my stride on how I'm really going to come off in my YouTube channel, but I love doing it. And I kind of, because I've just been doing covers and some talks about creative stuff, but I really feel like it's about all kinds of stuff. Like, I think anybody can write a song. And I just wrote a blog post about it because the fact that I've been watching a lot of Victor Wooten, and that guy's so cool. He's amazingly technical, but he comes from like a soul and a vibe.
Oh, he
first.
Is, yeah.
He's not theory first. I didn't know that. And I'm like, I love that guy now. He's like my new hero. Because I think people know how to write a song if you just have an opinion. Yeah. You could say, here, does this sound good? They'll go, no. I go, why? Well, you know what you like. You've listened to cool music. You have an opinion. Would this sound better? And they go, yeah. I go, now you're writing. It's kind of that simple. And then it goes from there. So I just taught myself. I took lessons when I started and they were terrible. Unfortunately, the guy, it was, I remember it was some Yamaha school in Irvine years ago. I went to uni with Tim and Zach from Rage Against the Machine. I don't know if you guys know that.
Wow.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah, Tim and I were buddies. But I took a lesson and the guy just told me to sit and hold the bass. He's like, sit up, hold the bass like this. And then your thumb's got to be back here, can never go over. And I'm like, this doesn't look like the guy with the dog collar and the red hair that I want to be like on stage, you know? But so he never.
The dog collar.
Like what I'm doing here is not cool. I want to be cool. How does that happen? Yeah.
Kinda. I mean,
Yeah.
of course I wanted to learn to play, but the bigger thing, not just so much make me cool, was that I wanted him to ask me, what do you like?
Yeah.
What bass players do you like? What bands do you like? And he never did. He just said, play the eight, play this scale I showed you. And I turned his back. So I quit. I went home to my garage and just started listening to records and started a crappy band. It was the best thing I ever did.
That's awesome. Well, I think, you know, it's almost like you get a job from a job. It's acquired knowledge. So you're going through the steps that a lot of people won't take. The first step is just doing it. So you just do it, and then you're kind of like, okay, I tried it, but no, I'm going to go this way. So I think that first step is the hardest for so many people.
Are you talking about, sorry, for my YouTube channel or for music?
I'm talking all of it. I'm talking,
Right.
I'm talking just as a concept of just doing it. A lot of people just, you know, take that Nike, the saying, but no, I think the first step is just trying something and not talking about it. And what you did with the school and this and that, and you're finding your way, you know, and I just think that's just fantastic. And us as musicians, you know, sports, anything like that, I think that's what you have to go through, and you're doing it. And dude, you're doing it. I think it's amazing. And your channel.
Dave Grohl talks about that. He goes, get all your buddies together and suck. Just get
do
together
it.
and suck
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
have as much fun. And
Yeah.
the more fun you have, the better you'll get. With
Yeah.
it.
And don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's the thing too, because there's no mistakes, you know. And I think like what you're doing, Murphy, by just follow your gut and do what you want to do. And if you think it's interesting, then it's like, you know, I think that all of us have gone through that. You know, I know me with, you know, the bass hang stuff. I just did what I wanted to do and what I thought was interesting and just trying new stuff, you know, and I think that's rad. You know?
I mean, just, some of the experiences, I'm just dying to share some of the experiences I've had. Like,
yeah.
If I could talk to a kid, I mean, you know, one-on-one was great, but in a video, I could say, look, if you're in your band and you feel unappreciated, I can relate and I can explain why every band member is important. And I'll literally give an example. Like we go to New York City to be on the cover of Rolling Stone. That's prestigious. That's amazing, right? And so we go to I think Mark Seliger, he's the great photographer. He did all the crazy covers when like just all of the wild and wacky covers. That was Seliger. And so we go there, we go to his amazingly, you know, prestigious studio. It's in this huge warehouse where he's shot Bruce Springsteen and everybody and all these great artists, Keith Richards in this one area. I'm like, that's that area. It's a brick wall. And then we get there. And then the manager comes to us and goes, hey guys, I just want to put Mark on the cover. Is that cool? And so we're like, you know, so I can speak to the experience of saying, if you feel like you aren't worthy as a band member, I can talk to you. You're super, super important. It's why most solo records don't always make it if that guy came from a band. It's because you need the band. So we decided, you know what, we're not going to fight this. They're saying it's this or nothing. Let's be in Rolling Stone and let's keep going. Everything's going great. Let's be positive, and that's how we roll. So
yeah,
I can just speak to those experiences that happened to me. They're crazy. It's like, how do you accept that? You're like, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. No worries. Yeah. Put them on. Yeah. So anyways.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing. Yeah.
Some executive thought, this is the good idea to do. You know what I mean? You know, so-
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like what they said was that they actually told us that band covers don't do as well as single portrait covers. And we're like, okay, you know, but that was our manager. So, but I don't bring that up to say that I'm sour about it. It's just that there's so many experiences that you learn from. Steve, you said you got to fail. right? Absolutely. And Tony, you said get in a band. Was it Grohl you were quoting, Tony?
Yeah. I'm paraphrasing exactly, but he basically said, "Get all your friends together and suck."
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I love that video, and he actually used a curse word or two in there, and it was it's a great video and it's great advice, and you do. So I just want to share the things I went through, like even creatively writing songs and failure, and because I think it's fascinating how things turn out. It's interesting, you know.
I think it's rad, dude. I think just keep doing it. I love it, man. I dig it. And you've got the, you know, obviously the media chops to do it. And that's another thing too, is like you learn how to do this stuff, you know, like just out of necessity or out of necessity, actually. Like, oh, well, no one else video edit, so I'll teach myself how to video edit. I'll teach myself how to take photography. And, you know, all of us have done that kind of stuff, which is rad.
Still.
Fun. No. And still, we all, I think, you never stop learning, and that's a good thing, you know. And
nobody wants to edit, right? I mean, how much? That's the one thing. It's like, I got to edit for another 3 hours.
Dude,
is editing fun, Steve, or what do you think?
Excuse me, Liam's there, but no. I tell everybody, they're like, "Oh yeah, video." It's like, no, editing sucks. It's the worst thing ever. It's like being a nomadic hunter and gatherer, having to go hunt for your meal and your food. Okay, I got to get this video here. I got to get this video here. I got to put this audio here. I got to mix down the audio. And then I have to put it all together. And that's not even the end of it. I'm going on a rant. And then I got to line everything up. And then I got to do that. Dude,
You got to sync. It's funny because editing is actually, if you think about it, it's a very, very creative endeavor.
Yes.
And there is an Academy Award. There's a bunch of awards within, I think, the aspect of editing. But it is such and you can't ever replace it. I think I don't know that you can ever replace it with like, you know, automation. Or
no, you can't. You can't. I get anxiety when all the pieces are not together. I get super gnarly anxiety. You know what I mean? And then
editing has its own rhythm and beat and structure. It can change the feel of everything as an editor.
Yeah, I was going to say, I get gnarly anxiety when I have a few projects and I haven't put them all together and lined everything up. Once everything is lined up and together, I relax. But up to that point, and the guys can attest, you know, because I just get in these things with like G&L, with me, with stuff that I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's mental bandwidth. It's taxing on my brain, you know.
John and I can tell you about Steve's anxiety over that stuff.
Yeah, because I just get overwhelmed.
And rightfully so, you know.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff to take. Like, and Murphy, you know, it's like project managing stuff, and I don't know, but yeah, editing.
Did John and Tony? Sorry to interrupt. Do you guys, you know, shoot and edit too, John and Tony, or not?
Mm-hmm.
Barely me.
Yeah, I've done a number of it, like all the product videos and stuff for GHS. Most of them have been me.
Yeah. Well,
I don't do a lot of it at all, but I'm getting more and more into it during COVID.
Yeah. And that's the thing too, is like at the start of this, I had so many people, and Murphy, you too, and you guys also, like, hey, how do you do this? Oh, wow, I'm going to start doing video editing. And then people are like, whoa, wait, this is hard.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah. A buddy of mine always gives the thing of, 1 hour of editing for 1 minute of finished video?
Yes. Well, I got to say too that John is a badass artist and graphic designer, which Photoshop was my nemesis last year. I've gotten a lot better, but it's still like
when the new version comes out, you'll be back at square one like all of us.
Well, I'm in the cloud. Adobe, I use everything Adobe. I've been in the cloud.
Yeah.
You too. Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's fantastic. But yeah, it's that's a whole other world, you know, that I'm not good at. And I don't know.
I actually like making thumbnails for YouTube. I actually totally get into making them.
You know what?
Not me, PewDiePie.
You know what?
I get to the point now when I work with the advertising agency that does all of our stuff, like immediately I just start being like, okay, the kerning between these letters is off. This is off here, because I've been.
That's funny.
That was my former job before everything was like proofing and copywriting. So it was my job to find all the mistakes. So now it's just second nature of, this needs to be this. kind of thing.
So I just had this crazy thought because all of us are talking and all of us do kind of in-house recording, media, production stuff. Bass players kind of, we take on those roles. You know, I think so. I think like a lot of producers, like Larry Klein, you know, was a bass player. And now he's like one of the big producers. Like, I think that, I don't know, being rooted, hearing everything, hearing all kinds of stuff. I think that's, I don't know. I mean, I know there's other musicians, you know, guitar players, everybody's good at it, but I don't know, man. Bass players, we kind of have that thing, that patience, that we kind of see everything, hear everything all the time. That I don't know, it breeds that. I don't know if you guys agree. I think
you'd be right.
Down to earth persona. Yeah.
Yeah, that often, like you were saying, often underappreciated.
I remember I saw John Mayer a handful of years ago at Verizon. It's not there anymore, right? And I was watching the bass player, and I think he was the musical director, I believe, of John Mayer at the time. I don't know who it was, but
John de la Bruyere, Brew was it? That's the guy on the first record, the Square for the John de la Bruyere.
Room for Squares.
Yeah, just fantastic, killer bass player.
Didn't Pino play for him for a while too?
Well, he played after, and he played the trio stuff. But the original guy, the guy that played on "I Want to Run to the Halls Here, Huh?" School, you know, that the big one was John de la Bruyere, I think was his name, and just amazing bass player, killing.
And he's got a bitchin' name too.
Yeah, I know, right? And I think his nickname was Brew, which is pretty rad. Like, really? You're a badass you're a badass bass player and you got a badass name. Like, really? All right. Yeah, so production wise, I think we all kind of it I don't want to say it comes easy to us, but we just kind of fall into that role easier maybe.
Like the handyman of music? Like,
yes.
I don't know, something like that.
So we can fix it all. So, and then recording wise, Murphy, what do you, I know you, Apollo, all of us are very much, we love the UA stuff and hitting a lot more recordings. So what's your interface is the Apollo?
Yeah.
DI wise, what do you use direct box?
I probably not very popular, but I just go straight into the UAD.
Unison? Use the Unison?
I love that. What's that?
Use the Unison preamps?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And but what I do is either the SVT, the Apollo SVT, or the B15 plugins are rad.
Cool.
And sometimes one time I had my guitar amp on and I plugged in the bass and I'm like, it sounds insane. And so now I switch. Wow. And for the guitar sound, I'll use the bass, the B15, and sometimes I'll do like the distortion thing on the bass. But what I do is actually, I'll just do that, but then I'll record it. I've got the Yamaha, I forget the name of them, but they're very popular Yamaha. They look like NS10Ms.
Okay, yeah.
They're the 5s or something. I forget the model number, but I have these. And then what I do is I use a Zoom and I record. I don't record the direct thing. I actually play through the speaker, and when I'm doing a cover, I'll play the song through it and my bass and record it all like with the Zoom out here. So it gets a little bit of a room sound and it gets a little bigger, and I like that. So
yeah, that's cool.
But for here, yeah, that's it. Just plug in Unison, and the plugins sound so good, man.
It's amazing. I think Tony, you just got your Apollo, right?
Yeah, I got my Apollo. I'm loving the Manly, so that's really hot. I really like that.
Yeah,
I have a lot of. I mean, I don't really do too much with it because I have so many DIs, so I just do a little bit of with the plugins. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
The Unison thing is a game changer. I used the SSL because UA will pull you in with like, hey, $25 coupon for plugins. Yeah, we've got a 50%. It's like seriously, like crack dealer. Like, all right, come on, give me more plugins. But I just got the SSL and the Neve, just the channel strips that are Unison, and they're just it literally is making me rethink like the hardware.
I love the 1073 Neve. I record everything with that Neve. I love that. It's
amazing. So it's the technology.
When you listen to there, I think I've listened to some where they did a plugin
and the hardware
versus the real. It's very hard to tell. Like I mean, they're you know, I think it's a feel thing and it's a vibe thing maybe. And obviously, the outboard gear still crushes plugins in a lot of situations, but they're just I think they're getting better in a lot of areas too. So,
well, I love the Ready, that A Design Ready. I mean, it's so But my normal signal chain would be the Ready into the 21176. But I bypass the compressor. I just go through the circuit because for some reason, it just has a good sound. My buddy came over and we A-B'd the Ready through that. And then we went Ready into the Apollo and put the 1176 plug-in. It was pretty close, man. I mean, it was really good, you know? So their stuff is,
I know I got the Pacifica sitting over here.
Oh yeah. You got
Right,
the A Designs. Yeah.
And it's like, well, I don't have any overheads going for, I don't have a mic kit down here. So like the kits, I'm like, okay, well, when I mic up again, I'll use it.
you know, and then again, I think that it really comes into poop in, poop out. I mean, what you put in is going to be what you put out.
Yeah.
All the time, every time, no matter what. So, you know, if you don't have just basics of just your hands, how they sound on a bass, you know, I mean, it's going to sound like crap.
Right.
If you have some semblance of making that bass sound the way that you sound, and it's going to sound good. So anyways,
I think I could get better in terms of, you know, the bass. I actually like the way, I think I've gotten it to sound pretty solid for the YouTube videos, just from my knowledge of like recording and getting, like you're saying, there's a lot of things to it, Steve. You're right. It's not just, if you have this piece, it's going to sound good. You know,
no,
there's a cliche. You could throw a guitar to someone who's really good and like, wow, they're making magic out of it. What happened? Well, they can play. But I'm always open to learning about more, you know, more pieces of gear. Obviously, my live situation, I don't play that much live anymore. I transitioned away from that, and I miss that. And I'm looking for opportunities to play. But I'm actually just using the Fender Rumbles right now. I have a little 200 that sounds pretty great. Yeah. It's so light. Yeah. But I also have played Mark basses before, and there's so many that sound so good. I would love to get a really nice bass amp, but for now I'm really focusing on just trying to share on YouTube. And so my simple purposes of being very quick and easy and getting a pretty solid bass sound that I love. I don't know, I'm set, but I still want to learn more about better DI to enhance this or make that easier. And so,
well, we'll have to. We got to do we should do just a geeking out DI video one of these days. I'll cruise down. We'll do that. That'll be fun.
That'd be great. We should do a DI, with and without, just going into the plugins and just see what it sounds like. And it's funny because a lot of times we scrutinize our sound. I mean, don't we all? But what's funny is what people listen to now stuff on. I don't think they listen to some people listen to really good speakers. What do you think people listen to stuff on nowadays? Isn't that crazy?
That's it.
Right?
But
wireless earbuds.
The thing,
how much space is in those,
But the thing is that what I found, just even YouTube and all that, if it sounds good to you, that's what you go with.
No, for sure.
Right. Because
you'll get a better take, and you'll be more inspired. All that, 100%.
Well, and you won't drive yourself crazy because, like you said, when you were talking about the music thing, it's so subjective,
right?
That one person will love it, the other person will hate it, the next person will be mediocre or medium. So you cannot listen to the masses. You can't.
Never. No.
Don't do it.
I'm just saying it's fascinating how people listen to stuff now. It's crazy. And I'm not saying we go, oh, of course not. Like I think we have to please ourselves first, and nothing else matters. If you're stoked on what you're doing, it'll turn other people on. I'm just saying it's fascinating though that people literally, I do it. I'm like, oh, let me hear this new track.
I do too. I know. But then again, it's one of those things where you'll see a video and you'll think it sounds, God, that sounds god awful, and people are gushing about it, how good it is. So it's again, you can't go down that rabbit hole of you just go on like, all right, cool.
There's also something else too.
Yeah.
What sounds good when I'm isolating my track, or what sounds good in the mix?
In the mix.
Exactly. Right.
You listen to those old Jamerson tracks, they sound like oh, they're not good isolated, but in that mix, they're fantastic.
Yep.
They sound amazing.
That's a very, very good point, because I've been doing a bunch of covers, and I don't know what it was, a bunch of bass. It was Deacon playing Under Pressure.
Oh man.
It was no, but it's not the cleanest line. And who else was another one? Oh, it was the isolated bass track of was it Cliff from AC/DC playing Back in Black, and they're these bass lines. They're not perfect, and people are scrutinizing them on the isolated bass track. Oh, also Tim Comerford, Timmy.
Oh,
great. And like he's rad, but they were making fun of how it was like a do like how hard is it to play that? I'm like, you guys you don't understand. It's about attitude and passion, and being a beast on stage and connecting with humans and staring at people
and everything. What's that kick doing? What's that snare doing? Right?
Exactly.
Well, that's what I call keyboard warriors. It's guys that have never experienced anything, that think they can, that are just sitting there just like, no,
Yeah.
Get out of your house and go really play. Well, you can't now, but when
I'm not saying they don't know anything and they're dumb. I'm saying, like, dude, give me a hug. I'm going to teach, let's go play and see what it's like, because Tim has sold lots of records and he's played in front of a lot of people, and Deacon and all these guys. It's not necessarily about how perfect a part is played. So I think sometimes the imperfections. What was I just listening to? There was a song I was just listening to, and it sped up, and it audibly. The bass player was too fast. Oh, it was Elton John.
Oh, D. Murray.
It was
D. Murray.
Somebody Saved My Life Tonight. And the piano and the bass were so off on this one beat, and then I kept listening to it, and I'm like, and I want to talk about that. Why my next one video I'm going to do is going to be just why perfection is not important, and it's about the song. If that was itemized and quantized, what happened in listening to it when it get off and it came back on, I just think there's an emotional thing that happens there.
It's being human.
Last thing, exactly, because it connects to us, because we're not perfect. So why quantize it and make it perfect? Then it takes away the element of a human, and we all relate to that. That's it.
Yeah.
You ever listen to like an old Hendrix record with headphones on?
Oh.
And like really just shut your eyes and like, all right, what's Noel doing? Oh wow.
Well, I mean,
right.
Okay,
right.
Who gives a shit?
Right. Yeah.
Murphy, I'm with you. I'm like, if I'm recording, I don't want perfection. Oh, we went over the beat a little bit. Well, you kind of slid into that bar.
What?
Leave it.
Yeah.
Leave. Unless it's blatantly ugly. Okay.
Right. There's a difference between a blatant mistake and that. Oh, that's cool. It was just, it slid out of the pocket just enough to go back in, and it kind of added this nice little thing.
Yep.
That's a good point, John. Where do you end? Where does it end?
Two quick examples. Since I've Been Loving You, Led Zeppelin. Oh. There's a moment that'll give me goosebumps, and it's where John Paul Jones, it was the end of a long Bonham fill, and he went, no, and you knew he got off, but it was in the key, and it just has this rad, amazing, it's the part that I actually connect with in the song. And then one other thing, not that Sugar Ray and Led Zeppelin are closely related, I Made a Mistake and Falls Apart, this song we had that was kind of a slower song for us, and it sort of had a tiny emotional content in the lyrics, which we usually avoided. But I think the song was in F, and it was coming to a D, but I went to C and then back up. And I'm like, I made a mistake. And our producer's like, sounds cool, leave it. I'm like, okay. And so Jonathan, good point. If I went to an A flat or something, or some other really, really wacky out note, then that wouldn't be cool. But the fact that it just works, and I almost look forward to hearing it now, because it's not just this is in, this is in, this is in, this is in. That can almost be tiresome. And last point, Victor Wooten had it was some popular video that I watched. It was this NAMM, and this guy, Music is Win. The guy, he's a popular YouTuber, and he was talking to him, and they were jamming. And Victor was looking at him, and then he went out, and then he said, "Did you see? The only time you really looked at me was when I went out." And he goes, "But I knew I was going out." So that point.
Yeah. I always take The Who, Entwistle, and Moon. Probably couldn't have been in any other bands except for The Who.
Totally.
Because you put Entwistle in Zepp, and it's like, no. Or you put Keith Moon in Queen,
Stones, yeah,
or whatever, you know. So, but how effing good are they just together in that realm? I mean, obviously, some people are gonna go, no, man, they had the Killer Pocket, but I'm like, Moon is Moon known for like Killer Pocket?
No, they were both like soloing.
He was always kind of rushing.
He's like soloing, but it works. And as Entwistle's like all over the place. It just works, you know, and it just works. There's no, I don't know. It works. I love it. It sounds fantastic. So
Entwistle might be one of the most amazing bassists that he doesn't get. I mean, of course he's a legend, but that guy's tone and his speedy fingers are ridiculous. Does anybody agree with that?
Oh yeah. It's just crazy. Like they couldn't have been in any other bands. They were perfect for that.
I didn't actually listen to them until my rock band and started covering a couple of Who tunes. So I just, dove right in, and that was the biggest thing. I'm like, holy crap! I just need to, strap in and hang on for some of these lines.
Well, I think Pino got the call, like he only had a few days to work on all that Who stuff when Entwistle passed away. Because wasn't it Pino that took over?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, he just killed it, And
it's funny, to that point, Pete, he said on guitar, I couldn't do much because Ox was so busy, but he was great. So he literally, I mean, he was, Townsend's a genius who wrote everything, but how good he is as a musician. He said, I had to play pretty simple, man, because this guy's all over the place, but that's part of the band. And he said when Pino took over, actually, it's funny, he said, I could finally now start to play a little more. Because although he learned the lines, he's a different player. And so the band changes,
Yeah. And I think John Buttons is doing the gig now, who's another just monster player. But yeah, I love that Rough Boys, that Townsend solo record. I'm sorry, I just need to, that's such a Rough Boys. And I mean, God, that's just a fantastic record. Love Pete Townsend.
He's a phenomenal legend, man. The guy's amazing.
He wrote all that stuff. He recorded all of it. I mean, it was Townsend. That's who is Pete Townsend. Yeah. Right. I mean, obviously the other guys too. Yeah. But
somebody's got to write everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, cool.
Hey,
man.
guys, well, let's wrap everything up real soon. Let's do some socials.
I love talking to Murphy though, man. I love this. This was so rad.
Where can we find you everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tony, say that again. I didn't.
Where can we find you?
YouTube. You just search for my name, Murphy Karges.
Okay.
The URL, is Murphy Karges space at the end of YouTube, and then Instagram too is just it's just Murphy Karges. Nothing fancy, just my name.
No, I'll find it. I'll put all the stuff there. Do you have a website, or do you? I know websites are kind of one of those.
I do. I'm kind of just using it for lessons right now. Like
Okay. What MurphyKarges.com?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Not a lot there right now, though. Do you guys? Our website's getting like. I mean, you got to have it.
It's almost.
Go ahead. Sorry.
It's almost like you have to have it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's almost like a card. Like, here's my card. It's my website. But you know where all the action happens is YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff. It's almost
right.
Well, and John, GHS. I think for corporations and companies, obviously, G&L,
right?
Any of these.
I mean, because we've got our online store now, we're taking the opposite approach. We're using all of our socials to drive people to our website instead of the other way around.
But it's almost like a personal thing. You have to have it, but the other stuff.
Necessary evil.
It's a necessary, exactly. Almost like an archaic kind of thing. So, and then I know we're going to sign off here, but how are you all healthy, well, during all these crazy times there, Murphy? Like, just, Corona craziness, you're doing okay?
Go ahead, guys.
I'm okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's happy he got a margarita the other day.
I actually ate at a restaurant and had drinks with my wife and my family,
Nice.
which was killer on Saturday. I was like, loving it.
Yeah.
Went for a surf and got to eat afterwards.
Yeah, you got to surf too.
Yeah.
Tony, have you? Is that like your first trip to a restaurant? Or have you been going out to restaurants for a little while now?
No, first one in like almost 4 months. I mean, I've done takeout, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ate outside a couple of times in New Hampshire. So I guess you could it's not quite the same, but actually like sitting inside, got served, ordered a margarita, boom, boom, boom. You know, that was the best.
Why does that make you feel like a human again? It makes you feel so good when you just sit down and order a meal and you eat something there.
Yeah.
Man, it's. I mean, I don't know how to put it. It was amazing. Yeah, you felt so much like a human. Have you gone out at all, Murphy?
Yeah, definitely. No, we started going out, I guess, when you're able to. And for the longest time, I actually had a lot of trouble. I was struggling with this thing early on. It was so crazy. It was like, the LA mayor was saying there's going to be bodies piling in the streets everywhere. This is the play. We're all going to die.
Yeah.
And it's like, so I remember thinking, oh my God, it's everywhere. It's in the air. I went to go. I had Mexican food on Balboa Island and I had my mask on at the desk. I took it off to eat and I put it back on. But no, I don't know. So I got a better footing after a couple of weeks. When it all first started, all the panic, all the stuff. But I got a little better beat on it because I got 3 boys and they all started homeschooling, and we're in a spot right now where it's kind of a small house. We're living on Balboa Island, and it was very tight quarters. This was supposed to be a little experiment for a year to live down there by the beach, and we didn't know we were going to be like quarantined in and homeschooling. So it's like, okay, bumping into everybody again. So it was tough for me. I was going crazy the first couple of weeks, thinking I was nuts, and then I get a little beat on it, and it's gotten better, and we're now attempting to do right. We're sort of, but now it's being drawn back a little. But I think it looks like we're trying to somehow go back.
It's kind of weird because we're like, look like we were going a certain way. Like, oh, let's close these beaches again. You know what I mean? Oh, let's close that again.
Well, and like you said, Murphy, when this first started, I mean, seriously, you're thinking it's a death sentence, like for everybody. Obviously, I don't want to. I'm not. What did I say? I'm not making it small. I mean, it's gnarly. It's bad, but to the point of what. At first we were in this unknown, like, oh my gosh, yeah, it's everywhere, like, maybe this is the second time it's needed, kind of shut stuff down a little bit, slow it down a little bit more, but at least, take care of yourself, be healthy, take your bio, I don't know, it's a little bit easier to swallow this.
John, when you went away on vacation, right? What was it like over there?
It was all right. Traverse City up north is one of those spots that really was very lightly hit for, Michigan. Yeah. But they were also the ones that asked to have the whole state shut down because, smaller tourist areas like that don't have the hospital infrastructure like Detroit did, where Michigan's main hotspot was. Kind of thing. So, up there for the most part, I'd say about 80-85% of people were wearing masks. And, we went out, when we went to the, we had one day when we went out to, we split up because it was me and my dad, my sister and brother-in-law, their kids, and my sister and my kids. We split up into 3 groups just to grab like food and drinks for everybody, just to kind of see who brings what back. And so when we were going around, everybody was pretty good. We went to a winery there and did the same thing like you were saying, wear your mask in until you sit down. Then, when you're at your table, then you could take it off, but then going anywhere else. But it was interesting because I think now at least they've got enough things in place. I think a day later, we're watching the news and they said, there was an outbreak that was attributed to some people that visited that area the week prior. Here are the places they went. If you've gone there, you need to get tested, kind of thing during this time. And so we could sit there and be like, all right, well, we weren't even up here last week. And even if people were around this week, we weren't even in that area remotely. So, it's kind of that to be able, okay, we can be a little smarter. So if, when a couple of things like that have to shut down, it can be more focused instead of just the giant blanket, just clamp.
Yeah. Seems be safe, be smart, but we can maybe relax a little bit more than the first wave where it was like, it was anxiety, man. Like,
oh, sure.
There's going to be a lot of, I'm going to say PTSD, but it's not.
There's definitely a lot less people out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Newport, Rhode Island the weekend before 4th of July, just last weekend. it should be packed, man. And there was waves, and like, no, not that the waves were great, but there was hardly any. There wasn't many people at the beach. There wasn't a lot of guys in the water. It was probably like 50% of what the normal capacity was. It was kind of odd, you know. It was like,
Yeah.
you know.
All I know is won't it be good when live gigs can happen again, when it's safe and when we're rocking. I mean,
Yeah.
we need, man. We want to play, right?
We're gonna play
All I
hang.
want to do.
I know.
All I want to do is
Yeah.
play live. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, I like sitting at home and recording and doing everything.
Yeah.
I'd rather fucking play.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, there's something
know.
about. I mean,
I know.
it's human connection. You know, it's like
Yeah.
seriously, man. Like, yeah, it's human connection and being around people, and you know, who knows what's going to happen with NAMM show next year. There's all kinds of talk, but hopefully we can have some kind of get together gathering where we can all kind of be together safely. And there we go. So,
But
anyways,
we're
man.
proud to do this. So thank you, Steve. This
Oh
is very
man,
cool.
Murphy, you're the
when we don't have anything, this is rad to do. So
dude, and anything, you know, we can do. You're part of this thing now. Sorry, I sucked you in. I pulled you in. You're part of our crew now. Dude, you know, I love you, man, and I'm glad everything's well, and can't thank you enough for just wanting to come on and just shoot some shit. It's been awesome. So yeah, this is the time. So I think we're gonna wrap it up. But Murphy, hang on. I turn off the recording, but we stay on and we talk shit after. So hold on here. We say bye to the public. Bye, but don't hang up.
Yeah.
Bye,
Goodbye, public.
Bye, guys. Hold on. I'm going to stop recording and not hang up.